1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Biggest bitch, not just at 135, in boxing.
What's going on, you guys? So Rolando Romero comes out and says that he don't fight for money. Gervonta Tank Davis comes out, and in regards to the news of George Kambosos versus Devin Haney, undisputed fight at lightweight, he says, I still make more money than him. Hit that like button for your boy. Give me the HBO special. That's the Help a Brother Out special, on the road to 11,000 subscribers. Almost there. But Gervonta Tank Davis and Rolando Romero, as we know, got a fight coming up. And yeah, Tank Davis more recently just had a little, thing with Floyd Mayweather, right? And Floyd Mayweather ended up pretty much taking a high road and said he pretty much wished the best for Tank. And you get the impression that Floyd knew this day was inevitable, right? Floyd knew this was coming. This is kind of what happens in boxing. Got good to a certain point in his career, and then, it's time for that guy to potentially move on to bigger and better things. But Tank Davis said in regards to George Kambosos and Devin Haney is that he still make more money than them. Now, the fans that's into the numbers thing, right? They may disagree. I mean, Devin Haney is one of the highest earners, I say, under 30 in a sport. He gets a pretty high guarantee. Now, Tank Davis, let's not get into the numbers too much, right? But Tank Davis says, it don't matter. I still make more money than them. Now, we heard that Tank Davis wants the winner of that fight, and rightfully so. I think that's something that Tank Davis needs to do now. At 27 years old, he should be in his prime. So, yeah, Tank Davis wants to go for undisputed if he gets past Rolando Romero. Now, Rolando Romero is a fighter he really didn't want. Right? He said he didn't really want to fight the clown Romero, but this is what TBE and TMT put up for him. So he got to go through with it. It's somewhat of a grudge match. Rolando Romero is going to have a significant size advantage over Gervonta Tank Davis. Don't be fooled by these pictures and things that you see. Tank Davis is one of those, like, I don't know what's up with these shorter guys, right? If you're a shorter guy, leave a comment in the comment section. But what's up with these shorter dudes? They got these shoes on that got like a whole bunch of meat at the bottom of them. Like these stacked ass shoes, man. Make these short dudes look a little taller than what they really are. I notice a lot of boxers wear these shoes. A lot of boxers. These guys that's in the fives, right? 5'8", 5'7", these guys, they wear these stacked shoes and shit to make them look taller than what they really are. And don't be fooled by this picture. Tank Davis is a really small guy in comparison to Rolando Romero. It's going to be a tough fight for Tank, even though he has the skill advantage, experience advantage. He has a lot of advantages going in other than stature, but he's a small guy. So yeah, it's gonna be a good fight, man. Tank Davis, he's that dude, and it's cool that him and Floyd didn't go out in a bad way. Floyd, Tank Davis actually comes out and says, what did he say? It was a tweet that he said along the lines that this bridge ain't, this ain't no torn bridge. I may come back. Basically is what he said, right? You guys that seen a tweet know what I'm talking about. Leave in the comment section, but you know what I'm talking about. Tank Davis came out and said that pretty much that, respect Floyd. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not even paraphrasing, but he basically said, yeah, much respect. But, it's not over. He had like a little handshake emoji. So basically he said it's never over between him and Floyd, but Tank Davis wants to go out and do other things. And rightfully so. And Floyd, gives him his blessing. Like, hey, go ahead, man, do your thing. If that's it, nothing lasts forever. So that's that with Tank Davis, man. To fight Rolando Romero, he don't really want this fight, but he gonna have to fight this dude. You know what I'm saying? He gonna have to fight dude. Rolando Romero been talking a lot of trash going into this fight. And he also says he don't fight for money. He don't fight for money. He don't do none of that. He's fighting for legacy. He's fighting for legacy in the sport. He don't really care about the money like all these other guys. These guys are dumbasses if you box for money. Rolando Romero had quite a bit to say, but this is also some things that he had to say in regards to this fight with Tank Davis. And check it out.
I don't think he's as big as a puncher as people think. I think he just bullies a bunch of small dudes and weight-drained opponents like Pedraza and Barrios, and small dudes like Santa Cruz, a torn Achilles Gamboa, that 122 pounder he fought on so I don't think he's that big of a puncher. I think he's just explosive and gets these people that just stand there in front of him and they're smaller than him. So I mean, it's only obvious that he's gonna knock them out.
And that's what some of the things that Rolly said. Rolly had quite more to say. Salute to the Last Stand podcast, Brian Custer, and who, in my opinion, is one of the best interviewers in this thing. But yeah, he also says he predicted to knock him out. And yeah, he's predicting a knockout on Tank Davis. This is a pretty bold statement to knock out Tank Davis. However, in my opinion, he definitely has the size to do so. You know, Rolando Romero, like I said before, has a significant size advantage. He's raw. What he lacks for in skill and technique, he makes up for in power and things of that nature, right? He's a pretty unorthodox as well. So yeah, he'll be a big target for Tank. And in my opinion, a lot of bigger guys have a hard time fighting these smaller targeted guys today. So that could be the case in this fight. But yeah, this is also what Rolando Romero had to say in regards to Tank Davis. And he says this here. He says, those dumbasses are going broke. I don't box for money. In reality, I haven't made shit from boxing. I have barely broke even with all the money I invested in boxing. So Rolly said he didn't even break even with all the money he put into the sport. He said that he didn't even break even in the sport of boxing as far as money goes, right? So is he really making the bag over there with TMT? And, you know, is Tank Davis really getting, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of questions. Then he says, I am not fighting for money, nor do I care about the money. I live good even without money. As you can tell, I have a house before Tank. I wouldn't say I live a luxury life, nor would I want to live a luxury life. I box because I want to be champion, and I want to be the best fighter of my era. I can give two fucks about money in boxing, because if you want to make money in boxing, you're a dumbass. I box because I want to be the best fighter, the greatest fighter of my generation. That's the reason why I fight. That's the reason. Excuse me. As I said, I'm fighting Gervonta Davis to knock him the fuck out and become a pay-per-view star, because that's going to be part of my legacy. Wow. Pretty bold statement from Rolando Romero, man. You know, he talking big. You know, he says he's trying to be the best fighter of his era. He's not even in it for the money. You know, usually guys like Rolando Romero, you know, guys who may have had a late start, guys who really raw in skills and things, they kind of just do it for the money. But Rolando Romero says that he's doing it to be the best of his era. Sounds good for the purist fans, right? He says Tank does not want to fight. He's trying to pull out already. He's saying they're trying to set him up, and in the end, he said he's going to try to find a way to pull out of the fight. This is what Rolly said. So he basically said that they're trying to set up. Tank said basically that they're trying to line him up to get lose against Rolly, and you know Tank's already coming out with excuses. Then he says he's a mandatory. He can't go anywhere else. If he pulls out, he's screwed. The judges aren't going to get a chance to judge because he's going to get knocked out quick. The second he's stupid, he's going to get knocked out, which he is stupid. How many fights do I have left in my contract? I don't know, and I don't care, because Mayweather Promotions and now Haymon treated me good. To me, I don't care, because I must stick with them no matter what. Wow. So Rolando Romero is team TMT through and through thick and thin. He ain't going nowhere. He's riding with Floyd Mayweather and Al Haymon to the end. This is where Rolly's on. He's a rider. Rolly the rider. That's what we gonna call him. He's riding with TMT through thick and thin. That's what he wants to be. Wow, right? He says they invested in me. They made me interim WBA 140 champion. They made me a pay-per-view star. So why am I going to go against them? Again, I don't box for money. I box for legacy. Wow. Okay, pretty interesting statement from Rolando Romero, man. And I do like Rolly for what it's worth. You know, I know a lot of fans maybe not be on board with this type of guy, but I think boxing needs these type of guys like Rolando Romero. Now, how he looks in this Tank fight, many expect him to lose against Gervonta Tank Davis, right? A lot of people just expect him to lose this fight against Tank because it's Tank. But I think if he can make a good account of himself, if anything, you know, he can still proceed on and do good things in the sport, because he's not really, on paper, he's not really supposed to beat Tank anyway. So, yeah, man, pretty interesting take from Rolando Romero. Gervonta Tank Davis, man, he got a lot of things. A lot of people going to be looking at Tank to see what he does next. What is Tank Davis going to do if he's not going to be with TMT? Does he stay in contract independently with Showtime and Fox, or what does Tank Davis do? But yeah, interesting take. Rolando Romero said he just wants to be the best fighter of his generation. Tank Davis says that he still makes more money than George Kambosos and Devin Haney. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.